This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
Good evening and a warm welcome to First Issues. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, the First National Bank of Botswana was recognized as the best bank in Botswana at the 2019 Euromoney Awards for Excellence for a third year running. Now, the honor was awarded to the bank's CEO at a gala dinner in London on the 10th of July. Well, we caught up with the bank's CEO at a celebratory cocktail meet at the first place, where he attributed this win to the bank's consistent, innovative, convenient and customer-centric approach to banking. He further explained to us what the award means for the bank and how they intend on upholding these standards until next year's awards. One may wonder what Euromoney is and how it came about. Well, we have found out that Euromoney is a London-based magazine that has been the leading publication for covering the growth of international finance since 1969. Over the past 12 months, its coverage has included interviews with close to 100 bank CEOs, ministers of finance, and central bank governors around the world. According to the publication, in their scope and mandate to encourage good banking, the Euromoney publication has been having the Euromoney Awards for Excellence every year since 1992, being the first of that kind in the global banking industry. Which banks win an award and which banker is recognized by the organization is a decision made solely by the editorial team, which is fully independent of any commercial relationships with banks. This year, Euromoney received almost 1,000 submissions from banks in an awards program that covers 20 global awards, more than 50 regional awards, and Best Bank awards in close to 100 countries.
The awards basically mean that our customers are giving feedback on the level of service that they're getting from FNB. And they are expressing their satisfaction or dissatisfaction around the service that we have given them. So the way how the criteria is done is by virtue of interviews with our customers, as well as collecting data on FNB, on the performance of FNB. So the award basically means we have made it to the world stage through the feedback that our customers have given, as well as the performance that they are seeing from our financial results.
Mr. Baghat, you are with other competitors obviously winning the Best Bank award in Botswana. What sets you apart from all the other banks locally?
It would be the various products that we have introduced to the market for the convenience of our customers. It would be, as I indicated earlier, it would be the feedback that our customers have given, and it also talks to the performance that they have assessed from our various publications, such as our annual report and the information that's available on FNB on the website.
What do you have your eyes set on? New products for your customer?
Yes, absolutely. There are a number of new products that we intend to roll out in this new financial year. Remember that our financial year ends June, 30th of June. So this is officially our new year. From the 1st of July, we are on to our new year. So there are a number of new products that we intend to share with the market in the next coming months and weeks. And so our customers should look forward to those innovative products that are going to make their lives a lot easier and their experience, their banking experience delightful.
Well, lastly, Mr. Bogatsu, where do you have your sights set maybe to win another award next year?
That's the funny thing, Sejo. That's the interesting thing, that we don't focus on winning awards. We focus on giving our customers the best possible service that we can. We focus on ensuring that every customer, whether or not the feedback that we're going to give them is positive or negative, we have engaged our customers and we have given them the feedback We have respected them to engage them on the level of service that we are giving them. And we have gone back to them with a response on the various queries that they may have thrown at the bank. So that's what the team focuses on. That's what I encourage the team to focus on. And should they do that to the satisfaction of our customers, then the award will come as a result.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world, because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
What is wealth? One person may consider being wealthy as driving their dream car, renting a house in a posh neighborhood, or maybe earning 5 figures. Another person may consider being wealthy as owning some property, having some shares on the stock market, and maybe owning some land that the family may enjoy for generations to come. The term wealth has been considered a shapeshifter in a layman's language, as its definition varies from one person to the next depending on what their needs are and whether or not those needs have been met. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary, however, defines wealth as an abundance of material possessions and resources. The nature of this kind of wealth is whereby success and wealth are inevitably linked. Children are taught from a young age to work hard and become billionaires, and not having to worry about financial security a day in their lives. Now, this kind of definition, however, has been shunned upon, as factors such as emotional, psychological, and physical well-being are not accounted for as forming part of overall wealth. On tonight's episode, we learn that true wealth is a 3-legged stool that encompasses financial security, living with a purpose, and a healthy mind and spirit. Inexorably, the absence of one of the 3 makes the others incomplete, as it takes all 3 to create real wealth. Our guest tonight is Alexander Forbes' former Managing Director Paul Masiye, who as a former asset manager tells us what true wealth is. He also explains to us why the 3 components, financial security, leading a life of purpose, and a healthy mind and spirit, cannot exist without the other to create true wealth.
True wealth is, as you may know, it's not just material wealth. Many people associate wealth with, and I don't blame them, with just material assets or possessions that they have. How big your house is, how big your car is, or how expensive it is. But there's the other side of wealth, which you have to go through in order to get to live and enjoy those material goods, is the emotional wealth, mental wealth sometimes, and we'll use it interchangeably because neither you are a psychologist and we don't really know the difference, but we do know that it's got something to do with the mind. We can speak about a lot of things regarding emotional wealth, but the important thing is for people to understand that unless you start thinking or caring about yourself, you will not be able to, there's a difference between that and physical fitness. Physical fitness, yes, contributes to mental well-being as well. But unless you start thinking about yourself and what you're going to do when you have issues that you need to address, which eventually lead to your mental instability, for want of a better word, then you will never get there.
You did say that people have misconstrued wealth to mean just material things. Why is that? Why is that the consensus?
It basically boils down to, like I say, who you are, what you stand for. I know for a fact that there are people who will go to any extreme lengths to get material wealth. But there are also those people who believe that there's a process that must be followed. And one thing I can tell you is that there's no shortcut to wealth, material wealth. And in fact, those people who end up ignoring the mental wealth, which includes carrying out every transaction ethically, ensuring that there's morals behind every activity that you go through. Those people who bypass those principles are the very same people who end up being emotionally unwell in terms of wealth.
We understand, but we want to, get the crux of how all these three tie in together. Your financial security, which is financial wealth, material wealth, the mental wealth, and the sense of purpose. How do these three tie in together to create our topic for today?
I did say that, if you don't have, if you're not mentally wealthy, it's very difficult for you to put together a proper and legitimate plan that will lead to proper material wealth. So the starting point has to be the mental well-being, or the emotional well-being. Without that, you become a bull in a china shop, and you know what happens when you have bulls in china shops. Things don't always go very well. So, and if you've got the emotional wealth or the emotional, the mental wealth, you're able to plan. In financial planning, there's an adage which goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. And if you're all over the place and you don't have any mental capacity or well-being, then it's going to be difficult for you to do anything. And that's how you end up with people taking shortcuts to try and get to that material well-being or material wealth. But you all know that when you take shortcuts, there's a problem. There's always the possibility of a problem occurring in the future.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world. Because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
We may try to run away from it and say, emotional wealth and, sense of purpose. But ultimately, a lot of us want to accumulate material gains, But we don't know how to get there. What is the starting point of building financial security?
Financial security, if you isolate it, financial security is you can get plans. You can drop plans as long as you know where you want to get to. But I can almost certainly assure you that it is not 100% of those plans that will work. There are plans, some of them very simple, and it's all about what somebody wants in the long run. Some of those plans will be very brief and vague, maybe even on a matchbox.
Yes.
But those become some of the best or the most successful business plans ever. Or you can have a guy who puts together a 500-page document on a business model, and that thing doesn't even take off. The important thing about accumulating, or at least if you want to accumulate financial wealth, is having a plan. You need to know where you want to get to. And I can also assure you that it's not going to be 100% accurate. As long as you have some sense of direction and know where you want to end, you then now need to go back and see, what do I need to do to get to that point? There are many examples of people who've come up with brilliant ideas, but have not been able to implement them because they didn't know, or rather to get to the end and achieve what they wanted to achieve, because they didn't have a plan. There has to be a plan of some sort, and like I say, it doesn't have to be a very detailed plan, but there has to be a plan of some sort. Otherwise, you're just groping in the dark.
You mentioned quite the interesting point that you'd find a blue-collar worker having much more materially anyway, and sometimes usually they have more peace, you know, than the person who works at a white-collar job or is a business owner somewhere somehow, and they have all of those things that they have. What causes that disparity?
I'm yet to get an answer to that question. And what you'll find is that those blue-collar workers generally tend to be the happiest guys. I mean, if you go to any distribution outlet that has the bulk of its staff really blue-collar workers, these guys are always very chirpy and running up and down and screaming all over the place. And then you go into an office of professionals, very grumpy people. And that's where the emotional wealth part comes in. And I think that they are able to then think properly about what they need to, not about where the next debit order is going to come from or how much it's going to be if I need to get this material thing. And in fact, you know, an interesting point that was raised not so long ago, you know, if you go to funerals, the happiest person you will see on that one day will not be the wealthiest person. Because the wealthiest person is probably thinking, I've been struggling all my life to make all this money, and I'm probably going to end up in a box like this. A lot of people that have been in the corporate world, that have been, not corporate, but formal sector employment, maybe white collar workers, are finding that when they retire, because of the fact that they've been chasing, and they probably don't know it, but they've been chasing material wealth throughout their entire working careers. By the time they get to retirement, they haven't actually saved enough money to enable them to live comfortably, and then they start to die quickly.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world. Because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues. We thank you once again for joining us for another edition of our Own Your Day, Own Your Life productivity segment. We've learned that the ultimate end stage of the illusion of disease is a death of one's design. Tonight, Dr. Kiran Baghat shares the key takeaway message of the series and explains that patients usually know what to do to get better, but do not want to do it.
The key messages for Sejo are: one, eat well. So the foods we've talked about are common sense foods. You know, much of what I've said today and in this series are things that patients know but don't want to do. You know, so it's eat well, avoid processed foods, avoid boxed foods, avoid sugary foods, avoid starchy foods. Stay with your protein and your veggies. Stay with your meat and your veggies, your nuts and your beans and your eggs and your fish and your whole foods and your nuts, your healthy oils. I know it may be difficult initially, but your body will get used to it. Avoid excessive sugar, avoid excessive salt. Move a little bit more. Move in your work environment. Sprint a little bit. You know, we're not talking about marathons. We're just talking about a little bit of sprinting on a daily basis. Lift some heavy weights if you can now and again. Whether it's a dumbbell, whether it's a bag of sugar, whether it's a sack of potatoes. Do a little bit of weight so your muscles become toned. Sleep more. Sleep better. We know from the sleep experts that sleep is as good as many medicines that we have. Is a better antidepressant. It is the most what's the right word? It's the best anti-aging medicine you can get. It's better than any lotion or potion that you can buy. It gives you much better skin complexion. It gives you less headaches. It gives you a refreshed look. So sleep more, 7 to 8 hours on a daily basis. Stress less. Try and understand your stress. That, you know, if your boss is giving you stress, leave the work at home. Don't carry the baggage at home. Learn to manage your stress better, whether it's exercise, whether it's meditation, whether it's deep breathing. These things are important in managing your stress. And of course, the idea of Ubuntu, the idea of community, the idea of Boto. You know, people who, we know that the elderly, if they live within a community, live longer. We know that people who are isolated, that are alone, that have to fend for themselves as they get older, die earlier. So we know that suicide and depression becomes higher when you become isolated in your community. So try and get out in the community, try and socialize more, try and go to church, get into social gatherings. These are the key take-home messages of the conversation.
That is all that we had for you on the Disease, Illusion, Death by Design series. We trust that you'll join us again next week for another informative show. Until then, from me, Bonatsarongwenya, and the rest of the First Issues team, good night.
This program was brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?